Hey guys, it's EJ and I am popping in. I'm actually in my car because I saw a comment under the picture that I posted and it was so fantastic that I actually pulled over and I wanted to address this right away because I guarantee you that there's a lot more people out there who are struggling with this. So the question was, or actually the statement was, one, this is hard, and two, it's even more difficult when I have family who are eating basically whatever they want while I'm trying to do this, and three, that working long hours, that sometimes that doesn't always, that's not always very helpful. So there's some additional challenges there. So here's what I'm gonna say is, number one, yes, this is difficult. This is like absolutely 100% being thrown into the deep end of a pool and saying, hey, by the way, we're gonna give up all sugars and artificial sweeteners, and we're going to give up all processed foods, and we're not going to drink alcohol, and we're going to give up, the starchy carbohydrates with the preservatives in it. Yes, that is difficult. Absolutely. And you know what? After the 7 days, you may decide that this is way too much for you to do all at one time. So my first tip for that is you may look at it and say, you know what? This week I really want to focus on eliminating processed foods, period. Maybe you start with, I want to start eliminating alcohol because I don't want to be drinking my calories. Or maybe you start with, you know what, I really want to limit the amount of added sugars that I'm getting. And so you just do it that way. You are completely in the control of that, right? So yes, this is like being thrown in the deep end of the pool. Totally get it. Number two is that if you're living around people who aren't kind of on board with this with you, I am right there with you normally because my husband does not eat as clean as I do. Right now I have the luxury of him not being with me, which sounds like a terrible thing to say, but for this challenge, it's actually kind of more convenient that he's not here because he doesn't have all of his yumminess that he likes to eat in front of me. So here's what I'm going to say for that is, one, pick and choose your battles. Maybe you are, eating clean all day, and at dinner, I don't know, is it that your family won't eat the things that you're eating and you need to make a separate plate? Well, that kind of sucks. That can be inconvenient, and I'm empathetic to that. So do the best you can. I am not gonna pop out of your cupboard and start policing you, right? And I'm never ever going to shame anybody for doing what they know or they believe is right for them or their family or their sanity or anything like that. So that's kind of part one is like, can you make separate things just for this week? Or is it just the temptation of them being around and they're downing sodas and popcorn or whatever while they're watching, family or Girl Scout cookies? Maybe they're half a box into Girl Scout cookies while you guys are like chilling out in front of the TV. Is there something you can do that's maybe not so food centric? Is it, game night? Or do you get to go read a book or do something, that's more self-care related instead of family time? And that sounds awful, I know, to even suggest that, but sometimes that's what we need. So thinking about that, or maybe getting them interested. Why are you trying to do this? What's going on? Why is that important? Maybe you can do that. I don't know. I'm not part of your family, so I'm going to trust you that you know what's right for you to be able to do that. But these are just some ideas. And lastly, the work situation. I get the whole work hours thing because mine kind of tend to be very flexible, and I'm in my office, I'm not in my office. I am fortunate enough to have a little mini fridge in my office that was provided to me, but I had actually gone out and bought one when they were doing like the back to school sales, and I just thought maybe I can like just put it in there and then I can have things like fizzy water, that doesn't have any added sodium or sweeteners to it. It's just kind of carbonated because for some reason carbonation is one of my little, sanity hacks. So like the coconut seltzer waters from like LaCroix, I'll drink one of those a day or something like that to get me through the day. I'll bring a cooler too. Like, you go to the dollar store, you load up on freezer packs, and you bring a bunch of food. Now, if you're taking public transportation, if you're taking a metro or something like that, that can kind of get inconvenient. So in that case, when I used to work in the city, what I did is I portioned out little baggies of things, and over time I was able to kind of bring them in, and then kind of build up a healthy stash, if you will, of snacks. And also remember not to try to do too much at once, right? So we're not talking necessarily about calorie restriction all that much here. So if you need more like healthy snacks to get you through the day, you're drinking your water and whatnot, like maybe that can help. So maybe if you're working those longer days, you have more snacks during the day, but you have a smaller dinner when you get home, and kind of trying to figure out that balance. These are all suggestions, and believe me, I am so grateful to everyone who's even been on this journey with me for any part of time, that you were willing to do this, that you were willing to see what eating clean was all about. And I gotta tell you, it took me, you know, we're doing this in a week. It took me 4 months at least of trying this, and sometimes messing up, and sometimes not being, you know, being confused because I didn't quite know. And so, like, you know, when I first started, I was still eating granola bars for like the first, you know, month or something like that, because I hadn't learned that everything that I was doing, you know, wasn't quite on point yet, right? I think the first really healthy recipe I ever made, it was using cornflakes instead of breadcrumbs, and like finding out, hey, that's not necessarily the healthiest thing either. But I was so proud of myself that I made those little chicken tenders rolled in cornflakes instead of flour and breadcrumbs, when it turns out that actually probably the flour and breadcrumbs, if I had used whole wheat flour and whole wheat breadcrumbs, may have actually been more healthy. So be a little kind to yourself and allow yourself to have a learning curve, and I think that's going to be really important. Okay, I'm about to get run over by a Mack truck apparently, who's like doing this backup thing around. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna go move because he's being a little bit, all right, I gotta go. But anyway, I just wanted to pop in and answer that question. Okay, thank you. Bye.